How you doing today, folks? Today I'd like to show you how not to mulch around a tree. People just don't seem to know how to properly mulch their trees, and in the effort to make their trees better, they're ending up actually making their trees worse. This tree has what's known as volcano mulching. You see a tree with a big mound or volcano of mulch around the base of it. Now, volcano mulching causes the bark of the tree to be wet all the time. When things are wet all the time, they can get disease. Volcano mulching also causes the roots of the tree to grow up into this mulch. And by being up in this mulch over the summer, when things dry out, the tree's going to dry out. Rather than sending its roots deep into the soil to find moisture, they're all shallow roots. And then also what you can get is you'll get rodents in this mulch, and the rodents will start to chew away at the bark of the tree. If you go out into nature and walk through the forest, you're going to see that all the trees are going to have a nice flare, we call it the root flare, at the base of the tree. Trees don't go into the ground straight up and down. Usually if you're in a home and you see a tree straight up and down, it's because somebody did some filling around the grade to build the house. But out in the woods, all the trees are going to have a flare because that's the way they're meant to grow. So if you've got volcano mulching in your property, the best thing you can do is just go ahead and peel it off very carefully without damaging the bark of the tree. So we're going to use a shovel out here, but once we get near the bark, we're going to just use our hands to peel that away. So all this mulch is just excess mulch that was dumped on this poor tree. And you can see as I'm digging in here, these are all the roots of the tree. The mulch is kind of sticking together. But you can also see how this mulch is extremely dry. And it's funny, I've actually got like a history. Like in geology, there's the layers. So I see there was a little bit of red mulch. So at one point they went with some red mulch. And then there's some brown too. But you see how all these roots are up in the soil? And as soon as it gets dry, these roots are going to dry out. So we're just going to come through and clean this up. And I'm glad we got here early before most of the damage was done. So you see here's some bigger roots. So this is really where the grade should be around this tree. Now around the tree, we're going to use our hands to pull this mulch away. We don't want to go damaging the bark. And these roots, they're growing up. And if you take a look here, I don't know how well you can see it, this is going to become what's known as a girdling root. The root has actually circled the tree. So in maybe 10, maybe 15 years, this root will be big enough that as the tree expanded its growth, this root right here would actually end up girdling it and choking the tree out. So we're getting this mulch pulled away, and I just feel so much better for this tree already. And I want to be careful. I don't want to use any sharp metal tools when I'm digging around the base of this tree. And any thicker roots you end up exposing, cut them nice and clean. They'll heal over much quicker, much better. So there was really no reason whatsoever to have this extra 6 inches of mulch sitting on top of this poor tree. And I'm happy to say I don't see any signs of damage from creatures. I don't see any rot, so I think we got it in time. It looks like this tree was still planted a little bit too deeply because of the way trees are dug mechanically in nurseries. Sometimes they're already buried too deeply because of the way the machine digs them out and the way they're cultivated. So whenever you're planting a new tree, you really want to scrape off the top of the ball very carefully like I did here today until you come to the flare of that tree. And make sure when you plant the flare of that tree, you got that flare at ground level, or sometimes I'll put the flare just a touch higher than ground level because I know there's going to be mulch around there anyways. So we've got the base of this tree cleaned up, and you can see that I've lowered the grade there. That's a good 6 to 7 inches. And it just hurts me every time I drive by houses and I see this volcano mulching around trees and shrubs. Because while it doesn't do any short-term damage, long-term I know it's going to affect the health of the tree. And what I'm going to do here is I'll go ahead and cut a nice ring around the base of the tree, go ahead and re-mulch, and I'll leave a good 5 to 6 inch gap between the edge of the mulch and the base of the tree. And I'll just apply 2 to 3 inches of mulch. You don't want to apply more than 3 inches of mulch. And thanks a lot for watching today, folks. Have a great day.